शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म उपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरते यौपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्तिः 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 श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ओमित्येतदक्षरमुद्गीतमुपासीत ओमिति ह्युद्गायते तस्योपव्याख्यानम् तदनन्यत्वम् आरम्भणशब्दादिभ्यः तदनन्यत्वम् that Jagat, all the universe, is not separate from Brahman. That is the ananyata. Understand the difference between abheda. So abhinnata and ananyata are different things. As Bhashyakar explains, ananyatvam vyatirekena abhavaha. Meaning that effect cannot exist separate from the material cause. Arambhana Shabdadibhya. This is what we learn from the illustrations in the Upanishads involving the Arambhana Shabda. Arambhana means that it has origin. So from these words such as origin, this is what we learn. अभिवगम्य च एवं व्यावहारिकं भोक्तृभोग्य लक्षण विभागं स्याद् लोकोदिति परिहारो अभिहितः. The previous sutra and also the previous adhikaranam, the parihara, the refutation was given. The question was dealt with. Abhivagamya. For the sake of argument, we accepted that this vibhaga, the distinction between the bhogya and the bhokta, the distinction between the experienced and the experiencer, can very well be there even when the material cause Brahman is one or non-dual. It is explained by the illustration of the ocean and the waves and the bubbles and the foam. how even though the ocean is one, still it does not in any way come in conflict with the manyness of the waves and the foam and the bubble, and the interaction that takes place between them. All of this is not in any way affected by the oneness of ocean. Similarly, the oneness of Brahman would not affect the manyness of the world involving this division, such as the Bhogya and the Bhokta. This was a parihara. This was the answer or refutation given, accepting for the time being, for the sake of argument, we accepted the oneness of the cause and manyness of the effect. Nadu ayam vibhaga paramartha asti. Not that this vibhaga, this distinction between the object and the subject, that vibhaga is not paramartha, or between the various members of the effect, such as pots and pans, that they are essential difference. There is no essential difference among them. Similarly also, there is no paramarthika. There is no essential difference between the Bhogya and the Bhokta. Yasmat tayoho karyakaranayoho ananyatvam abhyupagamyate. So as Bhashya Ratna Prabha said, pratyakshadinam autsargika pramanyam angikritya. Accepting for the sake of argument that perception also is a pramanam. What we perceive also is valid, meaning that the pratyaksha, our sense organs, our perception, reveals a division between the object and the subject. The angikritya, accepting that difference that we perceive, sthula buddhi samadhanartham parinama drishtantena. Sthula buddhi samadhanartham, for the person who is not able to see the subtlety, can see only what is on the surface. So one who draws conclusions based on what is perceptible superficially, and the person who is not able to see through the perception and appreciate the reality. So, sthula buddhi means the sukshma buddhi rahityam. For a person who does not enjoy the subtlety of the intellect, which can see the essentiality, which is only the superficiality. Parinama drishtantena bheda bheda uktau. That we accepted for the sake of argument that bheda and abheda are all right. Abheda at the level of the material cause and bheda at the level of the effect was accepted. Samprati angikrutam pramanyam tattva vedakatvat pratyavya. Now we say that this pramanyam, the authenticity, the validity of the perception is all right, but not as far as tattva or the reality is concerned. The perception has its scope as far as the vyavahara or the empirical reality is concerned, but perception does not have scope with reference to paramartha or the absolute reality. Vyavaharikatve sthapyate. So perception also is valid, where it has a scope, namely vyavahara, namely the empirical reality. तथा च मिथ्याद्वैतग्राही प्रमाणैः अद्वैतश्रुतेः न बाधः. There were the means of knowledge such as perception and others, which are mithyaadvaitagrahi, which have a scope with reference to the valid knowledge with reference to perception of the duality, which is mithya. So perception and all the means of knowledge based on perception have a scope only with reference to empirical reality, which is mithya. And therefore, what we perceive at the level of empirical reality does not contradict what the Shruti says, because the scope is different. The perception and other means of knowledge have the scope only in the empirical reality, whereas the Shruti talks about the absolute reality. Therefore, this cannot contradict that. Ekasyam rajvam dandas sragadi dvaita darshanat idem mukhya pariharah iti bhavah. Ekasyam rajvam, Rajju is one. And what is the manyness? Then the danda sragadi dvaita darshanat. Somebody may perceive the rope as a danda, as a stick. Somebody may perceive that rope as a garland. So that duality is mithya. So formally the duality of the Jagat was accepted as a duality between the waves and foam as real. But now the duality is mithya. So formally the parihara, the refutation was given accepting the reality of this universe. Now the mukhya parihara, the primary refutation is given where the universe is only taken as mithya and not real. And mithya cannot in any way oppose what is real. Evam advaita samanvayasya avirodhartham dvaitasya mithyatvam sadhayate. So Advaita non-duality can be true only if the duality is mithya, not otherwise. Therefore, the samanvaya, the purport of the Upanishad, which is in the reality, which is one and non-dual, now that samanvaya is not contradicted by the duality that we perceive at the empirical level, because this duality is mithya. So mithyatvam sadhayati. For that we have to establish mithyatvam, the unreality of the empirical world. So Bhashyakara said, Yasmat tayoho karya karanayoho ananyatvam avagamyate. Not abhinnatvam, ananyatvam. Therefore, what is the relationship between the karya and karana? The effect and material cause, ananyatvam, non-separatedness. Karyam akashadikam. So karya vipratipattidasartham vishinashti. What do you mean by karyam? Karyam akashadikam bahu prapancham jagat. So karya karanayoho ananyatvam avagamyate. We accept the non-separatedness of the effect from the cause. What do you mean by the effect? So about effect also there should be no dispute. So Bhashyakara clarifies, karyam akashadikam bahu prapancham jagat. The karya, the effect in this instance is this jagat, the universe. Bahu prapancham, having its variety or multiplicity. Karanam param brahma. So by karanam we mean param brahma, which is presented by the Upanishad as the material cause of the universe. Tasmat karanat paramarthada ananyatvam. So tat ananyatvam is what? Tasmat ananyatvam. Tasmat karanat paramarthada ananyatvam. Meaning, what is ananyatvam? व्यतिरेकेण अभावः. So कार्यकारणयोः अनन्यत्वम् इति उक्ते मिथः अनन्यत्वं शङ्कितं व्यावर्तयति. When we say that there is non-separatedness between cause and effect, we do not mean that both of them enjoy the same degree of reality. That effect is non-separate from cause and cause is non-separate from effect. So that is the mitho ananyatvam. It's not the mutual non-separateness, it's one way only. ननु कार्य प्रपंचस्य भेदाभेदाभ्याम अनिर्वाच्यतामिच्छन् कारणात् परमार्थतः अनन्यत्वं व्याचक्षाणः सोक्त विरोधं कथं न अधिगच्छति. So then, so far you accepted भेदाभेद. कार्य प्रपंचस्य भेदाभेदाभ्याम अनिर्वाच्यताम् इच्छन् कारणात् परमार्थतः अनन्यत्वं व्याचक्षाणः सोक्त विरोधं कथं न गच्छति. Are you not contradicting by saying that tad ananyatvam, that both of them are non-separate from each other? So are you not, on one hand you say that the jagat is mithya, on the other hand you say that they are non-separate. Therefore, vyatirekena abhavaha. Bhashyakara says ananyatva means vyatirekena abhavaha. Abhavaha, non-existence in isolation of the cause. The effect does not exist as separate from the cause. Karyasya avagamyate. Vedanta accepts that the effect does not stand, does not exist apart from the material cause. Karyasya कारण अतिरेकेण अभावे हेतुं पृच्छति. यस्मात् एवं अवगम्यते तस्मात् परमार्थतः विभागो नास्ति. Since this is what we accept, therefore the vibhaga, the division, apparent division between the object and subject is not the absolute division, is not the real division. In reality, the object is not separate from subject, or subject is not separate from object, meaning that they are not two independent entities. That we said last time, if you inquire into what is the object, the bhogya is asti bhati priyam. What is subject? The bhokta, asti bhati priyam. So even the forms are different, shapes are different, but the truth is not different. The perception and other means of knowledge only reveal the forms. They do not reveal the truth. They reveal the forms. And therefore, conclusions arrived at by those pramana, the means of knowledge, does not contradict what the Upanishad reveals, which talks about the absolute reality. Therefore, hetum pruchati. Why do you say? So, kutaha? The question is asked, on what basis do you say that vyatirekena bhava? Answer is given, arambhana shabdadibhyah. Arambhana shabda. So, why is Bhashyakara will explain. But arambhana shabdadibhyah comes from a sutra. From passages which talk about the arambhanam, origin. बुभुत्सित हेतु विषय सूत्र भागम अवतारयति. So, आरम्भण शब्दादिभ्यः is a hetu. So, hetu विषय सूत्र भागम. We want to understand what do you mean by आरम्भण शब्दादिभ्यः बुभुत्सितम. So that is the desire to be known. What is the meaning of Arambhana Shabdadibhya in the sutra? Please tell us. So then Bhashyakara explains that. Let us read now page 373, the third line. This part we have read, but we just be reading again. Arambhana Shabdastavad Eka Vijnanena Sarva Vijnanam Pratignyaya Drishtanta Apekshayam Uchyate Yatha Somya Ekena Mritpindena Sarvam Brahmam Vijnatam Syad Vācārambhanam Vikāro Nāmadheyam Mrityakaityeva Satyam Iti. This word Arambhana, where does it appear? Arambhana Shabdadibhya. This word Arambhana and similar words. So where does this word Arambhana appear? Arambhana Shabdastavad Eka Vijnanena Sarva Vijnanam Pratignyaya. In the 6th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad, Pratignyaya, having proposed Eka Vijnanena Sarva Vijnanam Yena Ashrutam Shrutam Bhavati Amatam Matam Avijnatam Vijnatam Iti. So that by hearing which everything is as well heard, that by thinking about which everything is as well thought of, that by knowing which everything is as well known, Pratignya. So then Pratignya is presented. Parvato Vandiman, that there is fire in that Parvata, in that hillock. Then Drishtanta Apekshayam, Hetu Apekshayam, and Drishtanta is given so that we can derive the Hetu. Yatra yatra dhumah tatra tatra vanni. So dhumatva yatha mahanase. So you say that parvato vanniman, that hillock has fire. Why do you say that? Dhumatvat, because there is smoke. So what? Yatra yatra dhumah tatra tatra vanni. Because wherever the smoke is, that is where the fire must be. Where do you see that? Yatha mahanase, as we see in our kitchen and many other places. So, when you present pratigna, automatically there is an expectancy of the hetu, of the reason, and for that expectancy of drishtanta. So, dhumatvat is a hetu. But on what basis do you say that? Drishtanta must be yatha mahanase, just as in the kitchen. So, Drishtanta Apekshayam Uchyate. When the Shruti made the proposition of knowing one thing by knowing everything by knowledge of one, that is Apeksha or expectancy of Drishtanta illustration. And therefore the illustration was given Yatha Somya Eke Namurtpindena Saram Brahmam Vijnatam Syat. He Somya, just by knowing one clod of earth, everything made of earth is as well known. Why is it so? Vācārambhanam Vikāro Nāmadheyam. What's called Vikara or modification is Vācārambhanam. It is only speech as the Arambhanam origin. So what is called Vikara? So spot etc. has its origin only in the speech. It exists only in name. Nāmadheyam. It exists only in name. Vācārambhanam has its origin only in the speech. Mrityaka ityeva satyam. In that illustration, Mrityaka, the clay alone is real. Meaning the iti means what? The material cause is real. Says Nyaya Ghata Vishayatvad Esha Shabda Jagad Vishayo Na Bhavati. Arambhana Shabdadi, Arambhana Shabda, Vacharambhanam, Vikaranamdhem, Mritika Etyeva Satyam. So Arambhana Shabda does not refer to Jagat, it refers to pots and pans. The example given in Chandogya Upanishad refers to Vikara, modification, such as Ghata, such as a pot. Therefore, each Shabda Jagat Vishayo na bhavati. That Arambhana does not apply to Jagat, applies to only pots. Tat katham jagato mithyadam tena siddhyati. So by that Arambhana Shabda, which gives mithyatma of a pot, how do you arrive at the mithyatma of the Jagat? That illustration gives only mithyatma of pots and pans. How do you arrive at the mithyatma of the Jagat? इति आशंक्य जगत है मिथ्यात्व साधनार्थम आदि दृष्टांत निविष्टम वाचारंभणम. जगत है मिथ्यात्व साधनार्थम. Understand that the drishtanta is given by the Upanishad for clarifying or arriving at the mithyatvam, the unreality of Jagat, where Adi Drishtanta Nivishtam, three Drishtantas are given. First is what? Mrityaka Etyeva Satyam, and then Lohamani, etc. So these different examples are given. Ekena Lohamanina. So of them the first example is of the clay and the pot. So Bhashyakara gives this one, does not give second and third examples, Nakhanikuntanam and Lohamani, etc. So these Bhashyakara gives only first example. So Adi Drishtanta. So Adi Drishtanta Nivishtam Vacharambhanam Darstantikevi Samarthyam Astheyam Samyasam Astheyam. The mithyatvam that applies to a pot also applies to Jagat, because there is a similarity between the Drishtanta and Darshtanta. So, because Chandogya Upanishad did not say Brahma ityeva satyam, if Chandogya said Mritya ityeva satyam, that's where it stopped. Drishtanta was given, but the conclusion was not given. Tasmat Jagat Mithya Brahma Satyam. If this was stated clearly, then this sutra would not have been necessary. But that they did not say. They only gave the example of clay and pot, etc., and did not extend that illustration to the Darshtanta, to what is illustrated. So we have to do that here. So Bhashyakara says, Etaduktam bhavati. So this is what the Drishtanta or illustration means. Ekena vritpindena paramatataha mridatmana vijñātena sarvam mrunmayam ghatasharava udancanādikam mridatmakatva avisheshāt vijñātam bhavet yatah vācārambhanam vikāro nāmadheyam vāca eva kevalam asti iti ārabhyate. Etaduktam bhavati. This is what we have to understand from that example. Ekena vritpindena paramathatah mudatmana vijñātena. Ekena mritpindena. So first we should add vijñātena and paramathatah vijñātena. Because A Mrutpinda has to be understood properly. Mrutpinda is a lump of clay or some clod of earth, whatever, some form it has. The clay always presents itself in one or the other form. So what is meant by knowing the Mrutpinda? So says here, so Paramata Vijnatena. When you know it in essence, what? Mrutsu Mrudatmana Vijnatena. When you see this fact that what is called Mrutpinda or a clod of earth is nothing but clay. Because that is also a vikara, really speaking. So Paramatata Vijnatena Mrudatmana Vijnatena Sadam Mrunmayam. Whatever then is made of mrut or the clay, Gata Sharava Udanchanadikam. Gata means a pot, Sharava means a plate, Udanchana means a jar, etc. Mrudatmakatva avisheshat vijnatam bhaved. So first of all we should understand the Drishtanta. How do you say that by knowing the clay, that the pots and all other vessels made of clay, that they become known? How? I see a pot, a clod of earth. How do I know a pot and a plate and a jar? How do I know? Bhashyakara says, therefore, so Paramatada Mrudatmana Vijnatena. When you know this clod of earth in reality as to what it is, which is clay, then Sarumrunmam, whatever is the modification of clay, such as a pot, a plate, a jar, Mrudatmakatva avisheshat, there also have mrut or clay as an atma. Clay is the essence of the pots and the jars, etc. Therefore, in essentiality they become known. By knowing the clod of earth as clay, whatever is made of clay is essentially known. Because for everything there are two aspects. One is essential, other is incidental. So in clay also there is the essential aspect, which is clay. There is the incidental aspect, which is its form and shape and usage. All of these are incidental aspects. So by knowing the essence, which is clay, you know this pot only in essence, not as far as the incidental aspects are concerned. Katham anyasmin vijnate anyad vijnatam syadadi. By knowing that clod of earth, how do you say you know the pot? Knowing one thing, how do you know the other thing? So Bhashyakara says, yataha vacharamvanam vikaro namadheyam. Because whatever is vikara, what is modification is vacharamvanam, has its origin only in speech. So what is vacharanam? Vacha eva kevalam asti iti arabhyate. What is vacharamvanam? Vacha arabhyate is vacharamvanam. Vacha is the third case of the word vag. That which is originated by speech. Kevalam asti iti arabhyate. That the pot is. This is how the speech, in fact, is the origin of the concept of pot is. So when you say pot is, that is merely the existence of the pot originates from speech. Pot is called is only by the speech, because there is no entity such as pot apart from clay. What is clay? And still is the pot is. Who says pot is? Only speech says that. So isness I mean, partness only belongs to speech. Isness belongs to clay, the partness belongs to speech. Then Bhashyakara said, Vikaraha, Ghataha, Sharavaha, Udanchanam Chaiti, Nato Vastuvruttena, Vikaro Nama Kasyit Asti, Namadhe Matram He, Etata Anrutam, Mritrika Ityeva Satyamiti. So Vikarona, what is Vikara? Bhashyakara explains, because Upanishad doesn't say what is meant by Vikara. Vacharambram Vikaro Namadhyam. What do you mean by Vikara? So Bhashyakara says, Vikaraha, Ghataha, Sharavaha, Udanchanam Chaiti. So what the Shruti means by the word Vikara is a pot, a plate, a jar, etc. Nadu vastu vrittena vikaro nama kasyid asti. What does that Vakya mean? That Vakya means that vastu vrittena, in essence, in reality, vikaro nama kasyid asti. In reality, there is no such thing as a pot or a plate or a jar. Namadheya matram etat anrutam. This is Namadheya Matram. It is only in name. The pot, etc., is only in name. Anrutam, it is unreal. Mritrika eva satyamedi. In that illustration, Mritrika or clay alone is real. So says Nyayandini, Karanam api vikaravad Anto शब्द मात्र तो अविषय आशंका है. But if pot is a word, clay also is a word. So karanapi vikara antameva. Why not clay also is mithya like the pot? Because shabda matra to avisheshat. Clay also is a shabda, pot also is a shabda. If shabda is mithya, then clay also is mithya or what? There is no Mritrika ityeva satyamiti. Eva shabdena iti shabda sambadhyate. Mritrika iti eva satyam iti. Eva shabdena iti shabda sambadhyate. Iti eva. That's how they have to be connected. That clay alone is real. As clay, it is real. The pot is real. As clay, the pot is real. Or clay alone is real. Look at Ratnaprabha. Karanat tudak sattva shunyatvam karyasya sadhyate na aikyamiti. By ananyatvam, it do not mean that they are mutually non-separable. Karanat pruthak sattva shunyatvam karyasya sadhyate. That karya or effect does not have existence apart from that of the cause. That's what is established here. Natu aikyam. Not that effect and cause are identical. They are non-separate but not identical. So vacharam vag arambhyam nam matram vikaraha na karanat pruthak asti iti eva kararthaha mritrika iti eva satyam. What is eva karaha? Vag arabhyam nama mritrika ityeva. Mritrika alone is satyam. Not that vikara is satyam at all. Mritrika alone is satyam and not vikara. So vag arabhyam na matram vikaraha. So what's the reality of pot? only Namataram is only in name. And that name is something that is begun or has its origin in speech. So this so-called pot is no more than the word pot, which word has its origin in speech. Therefore the pot has its origin in speech and not in anything else. Yadi shrutim yojayati etaduktam iti. Tathapi Brahmani kim ayatam. All right. So now you have established that the pot is unreal and clay is real. Pot does not have existence apart from clay. The word pot has existence only in name. Name has its origin in speech. All right. So now we understood that the stanza, illustration is understood. Tathapi Brahmani kim ayatam. What does the illustration have to do with Brahman? So Vashyaka Eshaha iti Eshaha Brahmanaha Drushtantaha Amnataha. Understand that this is the illustration with reference to Brahman. So Drishtanta is given there, Darstanta is not given in the Upanishad. Understand that Brahma is a Darshtantika, meaning that the Drishtanta is given for explaining the nature of Brahman and Jagat. Says Nyayana, Drishtantasya Karana Atirikta Karya Abhavashyatvepi Darshtantikasya na evamiti ashankya. As far as Drishtanta is concerned, we understand that effect is non-separate from cause. But still, we don't think that that's the case with Jagat and Brahman. So therefore, Phalitamaha tatra iti. Bhashyakara says, Tatra Shrutat Vacharambana Shabdat Dashtantikepi Brahma Vyatirekena Karyajatasya Abhavaha Iti Gamyate. So tatra sannihito drishtantah saptamyartha. Tatra meaning in that drishtanta. Shrutad vacharamana shabdat. In that illustration, the Shruti has used the word vacharambanam. So that word vacharambanam, which we hear in that example given by the Shruti, Dashtantikepi. So understand that Brahma is Darshtantikam. Shruti gives that example for the purpose of asserting the reality of Brahman and the Mithyatma of the Jagat. Therefore, Darshtantikepi Brahma Vyatirekena Karyajatasya Abhava iti Gamyate. Therefore, we understand that as far as Darshtanta is concerned, what illustrated is concerned, the Jagat does not exist apart from Brahma. So this is how that example is explained. Now says Ratnava Arambana Shabda Arthantaram Aha. The word Arambana also is another meaning of that word is given. Punascha. So Bhashyakara says Punascha Tejo Bandhanam Brahma Karyatam Uktva Tejo Bandha Karyanam तेजो बन्न व्यतिरेकेण अभावं ब्रवीति अपागादग्नेरग्नित्वम् वाचारम्भणं विकारो नामधेयम् त्रीणि रूपाणित्येव सत्यम् इत्यादिना. So Arambhana Shabda appears elsewhere also. Punascha once again. Tejo Bandhanam Brahma Karyatam Uktva. The Chandogya Upanishad. The Upanishad said how? Tat Aikshada, Tat Teja Asrujata, etc. etc. So then Upanishad explain how Brahman created the element fire and Tat Teja Aikshada. And then that's how Apa Asrujata, it created water, water again, then Aikshanta, then they deliberated and they created this element earth, etc. Having said that, Punascha Tejo Bandhanam Brahma Karyatam Uktva. So Upanishad said that Teja, the element fire, is a product of Brahman. And Brahman as fire deliberated and created water. And again Brahman, which was fire, which is now water, deliberated and created earth. Therefore the elements fire, water and earth are the Brahma Karya, they are the products of Brahman. So Brahma Karyam Uktva Tejo Banna Karyanam Tejo Banna Vyatirekan Abhavam Braveti. And further says how the effects of these three elements are not separate from those three elements. So what is Punascha? Said Nyayana, Dushtandavashad Dashtandike Brahma Atireki Karya Abhava Pratipatti Anantaram Cha Ityartaha. Dushtandavashad, because of Dushtanta of the clay and the pots, Dashtandike, in Dashtanda which is Brahma and Jagat, Brahma Atireki Karya Abhava Pratipatti. That means that the Jagat, which is effect of Brahman, does not exist apart from Brahman. Having understood that, then again Upanishad proceeds further. Tadanantaram. So Punascha, that's what it means. Brahma Karyana Mithyatvam Tat Karyana Mithyatoktyabhi Darshitam. So Brahma Karyana Mithyatvam. In case you have problem with the clay and the pot, and you have problem that how does that apply to Brahman, then subsequently Upanishad says how those which are products of Brahman, which is fire, water and earth, how their effects are non-separate from these causes. So Brahma Karyana Mithyatvam Tat Karyana Mithyatoktyabhi Darshitam. That product of fire is not separate from fire, so that is mithya. So product of three elements, fire, water and earth, are not separate from the three elements, so the effects are mithya. So how that similarly also products of Brahman are not separate from Brahman, therefore Jagat is mithya. So the other way also Upanishad shows that. So said here, Punascha Tejo Bandhanam Brahma Karyatam Uktva. Having said that, the Teja, the fire, water and earth are the Karya, the effects or products of Brahman. Having said that, Tejo Banna Karyanam, Tejo Banna Vyatirekana Abhavam Braveti. Shruti then clearly says how even effects of the three elements also are not separate from the three elements. Apagat Agnehe Agnitvam. The fireness of fire is gone. So showing us the fire. Upanishad says, Apagad Agnehe Agnitvam. The fireness of fire is gone. Where is it gone? Vacharambanam Vikara Navadam. What is fire? Fire is the Vikara, the modification of three elements, fire, water and earth. And therefore, Yadagnehe Rohitam Rupam Tat Tejasah. So the red color that you find in the fire belongs to the element fire, and the white color that you find belongs to element water, and the black color that you find belongs to element earth. So three colors. What is fire? Fire is three colors: red, white and black. So now when you look at fire closely and then you see that there is only three colors, then there is no more fire, there are only three colors. So apagat agnehe agnitvam, the fireness of fire is gone. Trini rupani ityeva satyam, only three colors are real. And thus one by one so many examples are given to show the mithyatvam, only three elements are real. And of course three elements are mithya and Brahman is real. So Trini Rupani Ityeva Satyam, only three colors are real. Ityadina. Says Ratnaprabha, Apagad Agnitvam, meaning what? Apagatam Karanamatratvat. Apagad means avagatam. Agnehe Agnitvam Apagatam. The fireness of the fire is gone. Karanamatratvat, because the fire is not separate from the Karanam, which is the three colors or three elements. Trini Rupani, Trini Tejo Bandhanam Rupani Rupatan Matmakani iti Satyam. So Trini Rupani ityeva Satyam. What is Trini Rupani? What are three colors? Tejo Bandhanam Rupani, the colors of the three elements, fire, water and earth. Rupatan Matrakani, the Tanmatras of this Rupa. Rupa means the Tanmatras of the colors. They alone are the real, and the fire is not real. Teshameva sanmatratvat sadeva shishyate id abhiprayah. So if you investigate as to what this so-called fire is, you arrive at the conclusion that the so-called fire is nothing but the three colors. That means what are the three elements? And then we investigate what are the three elements. It will be stated subsequently that when you see the earth, it is nothing but water. See the water is nothing but fire. So fire is nothing but sat or existence. That's how Teshavi Sanmatratvat, the three elements also are nothing but sat. Therefore, Sadeva Shishyate Ityabhiprayah. All that remains as reality is existence or Brahman and nothing else. Arambana Shabdadibhya. Arambana Shabda Adi. What is the Adi? Says Adi Shabdam Vyakhyade. So not only word Arambana, but other words also are there. The word Arambana very clearly delineates the Mithyatvam, unreality of the Jagat. But then there are other words also which also reveal the Mithyatvam of the Jagat and Satyatvam of Brahma. So what is it? Bhashyakara says, Arambana Shabdadibhya iti Adi Shabdad Aitadatmavidam Sarvam Tat Satyam Sa Atma Tattvamasi Idam Sarvam Yadayam Atma Brahme Vedam Sarvam. आत्मैवेदं सर्वं नेह नानास्ति किंचन इत्येवमाद्यपि आत्मैकत्व प्रतिपादन परम वचन जातम उदाहर्तव्यम. So not only word arambhana, but other words also indicate what? The ekatvam, the oneness. So it is atma ekatva pratipadana param. Either call it Brahma or Atma. So this arambhana shabda in fact delineates the non-duality of Brahman. Similarly, there are other passages in the Upanishads which also reveal the non-duality of Atma or non-duality of Brahman. What are those passages? Aitat Atmyam idam sarvam Aitat Atmyam. Hey Somya, hey Shvetaketu, this universe has only Sat as is Atma. Tat Satyam, that Sat alone is Satyam. Sa Atma, that is the Atma. So that Atma means essence. Aitat Atmyam means Sat alone is the essence of all of this. All of this has Sat as its essence. That as its essence. Tat Satyam. And that essence which is Sat alone is Satyam. That alone is truth or reality. Sa Atma. And that is Atma. That is a self. Tat Tvamasi. And that self thou art. It shows the oneness of Brahman and Atma. Where Aitat Atma idam. Etat has the Atma. Sat is the Atma, the essence of the Jagat. And that alone is Atma. And that alone is the Satyam. That alone you are. Idam sarvam yadayam Atma. All of this that you see is nothing other than Atma. Brahma evedam sarvam. All of this is indeed Brahman alone. Atma evedam sarvam. All of this is nothing but Atma. Neha nanasti kinchana. Here there is no nana, there is no duality, whatever. Iti evamadyapi atmekatva pratipadana param. This and similar passages, as Nyayendra says, evamaditi adi shabdat tadatmanam swam akuruta. Probably more passage. Tadatmanam swam akuruta. That Brahman created itself. So what is this creation? Nothing but Brahman itself. Iti vachana jatam udahartavyam. So these passages also are to be presented as udaharanam, as illustration. These also can be quoted in support of the vision that Jagat is Mithya and Brahma is Satyam. So that is what consistently the Upanishad reveals everywhere. Here is revealed by the Arambhana Shabda. Elsewhere different words are used. But then the Jagat Mithyatvam and Brahma Satyatvam is the theme of all the Upanishads. Okay, we will continue tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashyakrutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeri Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ।